Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. Today we've got another BOLO for you. I know I don't mess with pottery or glass much at all these days, but there are certain pieces from China sets that I always nab up, no matter what, in almost any pattern. The main one is spoon rests, and that's what we're actually going to talk about today. I do find them quite often. That is, as I said, the one piece that I will cherry pick from a China set. There's a few others, but that's the main one. So let's hop over the screen and talk about them right now. So before we get into the topic, I just wanted to shoot this out here. We've had some things going on that we were taking care of for our son, so I'm a little behind for those in Patreon. I have more video content actually coming out, hopefully late tonight, but probably tomorrow. Again, family stuff has come first and occupied much of our time through this weekend, and I do have some deadlines for some material that I have to have finished by a certain date. I usually don't do that, but this was for a deal that is actually going to complement us for the future. So anyway, right into spoon rests here. This is a Holt Howard. This is a graphical, artsy one. It has fish swimming and cats trying to climb up and actually get to the fish. This is an adorable piece, well collected, well sold. Every one of these you find will sell for at least, say, 60 to 100, 110 bucks, depending on the condition and the time of year as well, too. So, good example here, just over 80 bucks on this one. It's not a huge category, but there's a lot you can find. Many people don't split them off, and some people don't actually realize that's what some of these items are. Sometimes I see them misdescribed as, say, an ashtray or something in some cases. Next one here is Williams Sonoma. It's a ceramic one, hand-painted, made in Portugal. There's several different varieties that all look similar to this that are hand-painted. Most of them go for at least 40 to, say, 80 bucks or so, just the common ones. Some people collect the spoon rests because of animals and the characters on them, so they may not even own a China set that matches these, but they'll collect spoon rests, or let's say just cats in this perfect example. This is Miss Priss. This one's just a really cool one. It's a Lefton Miss Priss, anthropomorphic cats. It's just an adorable one here. This one usually sells very high. This is one of those that can go up as high as, say, 145. Now, you're never going to actually be able to retire on these. You're not going to make a fortune, but it's stuff that turns up, and if you cherry pick the right place, you can pick some of these off for a few bucks, especially when people describe them as other things, too, so. Now here's just another Holt Howard. This is well displayed compared to the other one. This person has less photos. It's sold higher, though, because of the way it's displayed. This just shows it off. The other one wasn't. That's why I say zoom in for the first image. The other one we looked at was a distant shot. It just didn't show off the item at all. This one's a key example. 8 bids, $111, so almost 30 bucks more than the other one that we just saw. Now here's another one. This is a Franciscan. This is Starburst. There's an atomic they usually tie to this. There's a Salem pattern too called North Star that's very similar to this. And I'm going to show you another one as well too. Just these dishes are like the key ones to get out of this whole set. These usually sell for 50 plus. And I'll show you that example here as well too, because here's a single one. This one went for 58. So in all likelihood, they should have sold those separately and they could have gained 40 more bucks. So someone sold these as a lot for 200 versus almost 60 for them individually. So take that into consideration. This person had 4 of them. Technically, this person could have bought from the other person, resold them, and still made a few bucks by doing that at the way they're doing it. So, you know, just a perfect example. But any of these atomic patterns for these go. Even if the plates don't sell very high, these are small, easy to wrap, so that's why I actually mess with these. I've got little drawers and a little cabbie cabinet thing that I can slide them into and fit a whole bunch in there with just some bubble wrap separating them. So this is why I still mess with these. These are almost always quick sellers. Here's just another one. Now, this is a modern Oasis. This is a different design, but all along the same era. Mid-mod century Eames era. It kind of dawns back to like Frank Lloyd Wright or something along that line, too. That one was 55. Now, here's a Lennox Poppies on blue. This is a standard pattern, too. This one's well collected. Most of these with poppies on it always seems to go. You can see the plate that goes with it as well, too. This one's 50 bucks. Next one's an heirloom pattern. They sold one. They have another one, $47.99. Nothing fancy, but these don't show up very often. Spoon rests are one of the best things you can get in this area because they're small, they're easy to ship. So if you don't want to mess with China like I do, this is one of the areas that I still will buy. So if you're at a place, there's a lot of China, you can at least cherry pick a few of these to make some money. So now the next one's from the 1700s, 18th century. It's a Chinese export. Now these go along the lines of some of the butter pats too, so that's another one of those items that I will pick up. But this is a really nice one here, $305. Most people would not know what this is or how old this is, in all honesty. Here's a Santa Claus one. Now they sold 7 of these for $40. They have 2 more. These are probably brand new. There's actually a set that goes with these. Vitri, I believe is how it's pronounced. My wife has some coffee mugs with the exact same Santa Claus on it. So now this one here you can RA as well. Burlington Coat Factory does have some of these types of items sometimes too. So does TJ Maxx and things like that too. So this is one of the items that I would be looking for if I was you. Here's another seasonal one. Most of these seasonal ones do sell, so I do look for the seasonal ones. People will put them out when they're doing Christmas and things to set the spoons on and stuff when they're serving, you know, Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner or something along that line. Now here's a whole one. Now these used to show up like mad. I used to be able to find a ton of these, and there's several different sizes of these actual gingerbread men, and I'm not sure what the other ones are, maybe baking dishes or something, but this one's designated as a spoon rest, and you have a spot to put the spoon where the actual arms and feet are. So sold one for $40, and they have a second one still to sell. Now here's a Mackenzie Childs. This pattern is another one of the items that you can RA. I have seen this one personally and nabbed some, so this is one of the ones you do want to look for. It's rather interesting. It doesn't look very fancy. Paint job is hand painted, if I remember right, on these. And there's plates and stuff that go with it as well, but the plates don't go for very much. It is the spoon rest that's one of the higher dollar items for most of these newer sets, just because they didn't make a ton of them. So people nabbed them up, and some people want more than one. So they sold one. They have 3 available, but if you look on comps on this one here, you're going to see a whole bunch of these that sell. Next one here is a Tiffany's sterling silver one. This one's rather interesting. The last few here are all cast iron. Here's a good example of figural ones. A lot of them will have a loop or a hanging spot, so you can actually hang these from the wall as well. That way they're not sitting in the way when you're not using them. Rather interesting one here. It's in the shape of a duck's foot, webbed duck's foot, or a bird's foot. Here is a guitar. This is a cast iron. It's a Lodge as well, too. So for those of you who didn't know, Lodge made many other things besides just pots and pans. They make muffins and all kinds of little odds and ends. This is just one of those little things that they make. It's a knick-knack. Most of these guitar ones sell in the $40 or $50 range. Next one here is a Carol Boyles. This is a metal one made in the shape of a woman with some actual highlights, some enamel work to it as well, where the spoon would sit. Rather interesting, $56, 8 bids. Again, this isn't a huge area. You're not going to make a fortune on this. But if you're out there, you're looking, you're going to find some of these where you can at least make some money on your time and your investment in gas and such forth. So if you get skunked, this is another area that you can make some good money in. Last one here as well is a oak stove. This is an advertising piece. This is 1890s or so, maybe a little later than that possibly, but I really don't think so. I've seen many of these early style ones. They all sell, especially the advertisement ones. This one went for $62. Someone might not have known this was a spoon rest as well. This would have literally sat on a stove and, you know, would have went when they sold it. Some of these could have been promotional items as well, too. There are some character ones that go for some high dollar money. A lot of people just don't list these, or they'll list them as a set, all with the china. I always split these up and then sell anything else separately because the spoon rests on their own do sell very well. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Well, there you go. There's another item we do look for. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.